Hello? Yeah? Really? Samsung's faking their moon photos? No way. How do you know that? Oh yeah? You watched a YouTube video? What did it say? Oh, a guy took a picture of a piece of paper? Oh, but it was supposed to be a moon and it turned out to be a moon in the picture? Huh. Sounds real scientific. What's up guys, Roddy here, and today we're going to talk about 1 month with this guy, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Let's go. So as you guys know, in typical form and fashion, I have been rocking this phone for a month, and we're going to talk about all the things that have happened with it, go over everything, what it's been like for me to use it, and then ultimately, should you buy it or not? So first things first, we have to talk about design. Well, it's a mixed bag for me on whether or not I really like this design or not. Kudos to Samsung for hearing me and many others talk about give us a flatter display, give us an easier to hold in the hand, give us a more premium feel. We've been asking for that for a while, and this year I think Samsung really delivered on that. One thing that a lot of people aren't talking about enough is how great this phone feels with these flatter sides. It's a lot easier to hold in the hand. It's a lot easier to grip. It makes it not feel quite as wide and bulky, even though this is a very big phone. But just if you're talking on it or if you're holding it and one-handing and texting it, those flatter sides just make it easier for you to hold. Moving on to the back, you've got this really silky, I'm going to say that word, silky premium feel glossy back. It's still a little slippery. It's not quite as good as the iPhone. I still say the iPhone has the best feeling rear on any phone out there, but this is nice. And then you have your cameras all shoved up into a corner, which we'll talk about later. And then you've got these really nice side rails that, yes, they're aluminum, but they feel really, really premium. They're a little glossy, but overall, I haven't seemed to mind them as much as other phones in the past that have been glossy. Don't ask me why, it's working for me. I did go with the cream color. I think this is probably one of the best colors, if not the best color you can get, unless you just like traditional black, and that's a great option too. But for me, this just feels the most premium. This kind of white cream color with the gold accents and gold sides just feels more premium. And then of course you flip onto the front, you've got this beautiful display, 6.8 inches, still one of the biggest screens you can get, still great Samsung quality, all of that being said. So you might be wondering, well then why is it a mixed bag? It seems like everything's great. Well, there's two big things that make me not give it like my favorite best phone out there when it comes to design. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about, which is kind of minor, hasn't really bothered me because I'm a case person, but it's these edges on these corners. Not quite as sharp as an iPhone, but if you're somebody that's like gripping this, like if you're like, I have larger hands, so it's easy for me to kind of easily just kind of hold this, and I'm not like having to grip it a whole lot. I feel like this is secure, like I can just, but if you're somebody that typically holds your phone towards the bottom and supports it with a pinky or something like that, those sides will kind of dig into your hand a little bit. If you're death gripping it, they're digging in your hand a lot. But if you put a case on it, most cases are rounding off those corners and they make it not quite such a big deal to hold. And the next thing is still these cameras. While they are better now that they're larger, I know a lot of people kind of make fun of cameras and lenses getting bigger and bigger on the backs of phones and things like that. The larger helps the proportion of it, but it's still, if you lay this down on a table and just type on it or try to write with the S Pen, it's gonna wobble. I don't like cameras shoved into a corner like this. I prefer like a design of the Pixel where they're across and they're just more laid out. I mean, you've got this whole large rectangular back. Seems like you could do something better than shove all the cameras in a corner. But again, putting a case on it helps a lot. And I've just kind of learned to live with it, that's the world that we live in. Is 90% of cameras are shoved into a corner like this on flagships. So those are my only two complaints. My biggest thing about design is that this phone feels hefty. And I don't mean like heavy, but I mean like dense. Like you've heard in the past where people talk about phones feeling hollow. I don't get that out of this phone. It feels very solid. It feels really, really good. Nice to hold, like it's a good, solid piece of hardware. Moving on from that, we're going to talk a little bit about this screen, and I can't praise it enough. You've seen in plenty of my other videos, and if you haven't, we'll stop right there and tell you you need to subscribe. We're on our way to 500. Like this video so it shows up in your feed, and we'll talk about the screen now. So great screen. I like in all Samsung phones. I still give best screen of the year, best screen on a mobile device to Samsung. Their screens are just the best. From being fluid to being crystal clear to being sharp to just giving you amazing colors. If you're watching content, playing games, any of those kind of things, this screen is the best. No, it doesn't get as bright as the iPhone, but I would still say this is a better display. And when I've been outside in bright sunlight, whether I've been working out in my yard trying to use this phone, or I've been at a car show, or I've been biking, no matter what I'm doing, this phone has held up great. I've never needed to get any brighter. I haven't wished it would go up to 2000 nits or been able to tell a big difference between it and my iPhone. So to me, a better, clearer, more vibrant screen that just gives me just so much better content to view, just makes the content that I'm viewing better. To me, I'll take that over a little bit more brightness any day of the week. And then since we're talking about this screen, we have to talk about how we interact with it, and we have to talk about performance. And well, the S23 Ultra has killed it this year. I fell in love with the 8 Plus Gen 1 chip, and I said from the jump, if this chip is as good as that or better, this is a definite shoe-in for best phone of the year. And Samsung delivered. This 8 Gen 2 chip for Galaxy is by far one of the smoothest, fastest, most user-friendly, you can throw anything you want at it and then some chip that I've ever seen on a mobile device. This phone has given me 0 issues, and I love that about it. No lags, no slowdowns, no issues multitasking, no problem having multiple apps open, superior battery life than any device that I've ever owned in my life. And then you talk about camera performance combined with that, how good it is. You talk about the fingerprint reader, you talk about the S Pen, you talk about all the things that are being utilized from this chipset. This phone is a banger. And I mean it, guys. The hype is real this year on this phone. If someone's telling you that it's not worth any upgrade, if someone's telling you that this phone is just, it's okay, if they're telling you it's just a mild upgrade or whatever, they are hiding the fact that this phone is by far the best phone Samsung's ever put out. Not just by a little bit, by a lot. It's so smooth, it's so fast, it's just great when it comes to cell reception, it's great when it comes to Bluetooth, it's great when it comes to Wi-Fi reception. I can't tell you how fantastic the performance of this phone has been, and then you combine great battery life, you combine the best screen on the market, you combine a larger, faster fingerprint reader, you then add in Face Unlock now is aided by being a little bit faster and a little bit easier to recognize stuff. You throw in all that, and you throw in the fact that the AI is amazing, that it can actually enhance your blurry moon pictures to give you an actual usage, and everyone gets upset about it and calls it fake. You can't knock this phone. I mean, it's just that freaking good, and you gotta love it, and it's pretty dang good looking too. When you combine all those things together, I guess we can kind of wrap this video up here, right? We gotta talk about the cameras. Well, I have a separate in the day life camera review where you can see the shots and you can see the videos coming later on, but overall, it just is a perfect package, really and truthfully. It's so well-rounded when it comes to this device because these cameras, not only are they good, but they're reliable. I just pick this phone up, open it up, and just shoot it. Where other devices I've had to really kind of push them or be a little careful. Even when I had a Pixel, even though I trusted it, I was still kind of nervous about just opening up the camera and taking the picture. Not with this device. It's so easy to trust. It's so easy to get a good shot. It's so easy just to make this camera work. And not just in-app, not just native to the phone, not just saying, oh, well, it's got 200 megapixels or you can put it in 50 megapixel mode. No, I'm meaning just like opening it up and taking a photo. The portrait mode, something I've never used, I find myself using a lot more. Portrait video has gotten a lot better. The edge detection is so much better. The ability to give you that natural bokeh in the background on regular shots is better. The zoom, something I care less about. I'll tell people all day long, give me a wide angle versus a telephoto. This has been one that I've actually started using because I can trust it. I know it's that good. So combine all that together and what do you have? The best phone on the market that you can get, period.